We now want to shine a light on the youngest victims among us, children. Parents, check your kids' video games because predators may be reaching out to them. In 2 recent cases, men were arrested for allegedly preying on children they met through the Roblox video game. The most recent of the 2 cases happened just last week. A Georgia man allegedly met a 13-year-old girl on Roblox, then drove to Topeka, Kansas, and picked her up in the middle of the night. The police say that 33-year-old Howard Graham convinced the girl to run away from home, brought her back to Georgia, and now he's facing charges of rape and kidnapping. Clayton County Police laid out some of the details in a press conference.
During that short relationship of having conversations, the subject convinced her to run away from home, and he would drive out there and pick her up. Like I said, this is Topeka, Kansas. This is not a short drive. This 33-year-old male did travel out there, did pick this young lady up, did bring her back to Clayton County. Between the time they got here on Sunday and Thursday night when she was released at the Dollar General, they had sexual intercourse many times. And she's finally had related she wanted to go back home to one of the roommates of this guy. I'm not going to call him a gentleman. And told her they wanted to go home. The roommates were under the impression that this was the stepdaughter of this. I'm going to call him what he is. He's an offender.
Thankfully, the girl later used the gaming app to connect her mother, and she's since been reunited with her family. The FBI is also investigating. Now we have another case. There's another accused video game predator in Florida. Patrick Shane Penzak was arrested in January for engaging in sexual activity with a 13-year-old boy that he met again on Roblox. The police say he posed as a teenage girl. The suspect allegedly asked the boy to perform sexual acts on a live webcam, and then he used those to blackmail the child into performing a growing list of lewd acts. Good news is he's currently behind bars being held without bond. Still with us, trial attorney Alicia Dern. And Alicia, certainly we are not blaming Roblox. Predators use whatever they can. They find a way to find victims, to make innocent children victims out of them. This is really more of a warning to parents. But tell me your initial thought when you hear that there are predators using these means to make children into their victims.
Well, I guess I'm not that surprised because predators typically will try to use any space where children congregate, whether it's online, and online especially can be dangerous because of the fact that it can be anonymous and the parents aren't always able to supervise. So it doesn't surprise me, but it just really reminds me, and I hope other parents, that you have to really monitor what your children are doing and keep track of who they're talking to, because there are just some dangerous people out there, and children are naive and they don't recognize it.
They're naive, they're innocent. I've got children, and one of my children, I had to say, who is this person that I, going through this social media, identified? And when I said, listen, this person may not look like the picture that you're showing me, she was incredulous. What do you mean? Of course they do. No, they don't. So it's that warning that goes with it that predators find, they will find a way. They will use any means necessary. They know how to groom. They know how to find children, youth. What's the one thing that you think you might say to parents in how you can prevent, education is prevention, how to prevent this type of crime?
Well, I think you should talk to your children and let them know that these kinds of people exist. And I know it can be an uncomfortable conversation to have, but you know, just like my parents had this conversation with me about people who might stand outside the school back before, you know, phones and video games, I think you have to have the same conversation with your children and keep those lines of communication open so that they are aware that there are predators out there and that they are communicating with their parents and not falling for somebody who's trying to convince them to run away from home, for example.
And I think there's a mistake on on behalf of all parents, and I'm not judging, I'm just saying I think we all have to be really cautious, because sometimes we might feel like physically our child's in our house, so we know they're safe, right? They're not out with someone else. But the reality is that's why predators have come up with this way of using video games, of chat and social media to catch them, groom them, and then make them into a victim. This is something that we see across the nation, worldwide, and we've got to be more cautious in protecting these children and youth. I want to leave it there with you, because we are going to end with some good news. A new Indiana law could prevent future youngest victims in their state. Last October, we told you about the heartbreaking story of a 4-year-old, Judah Morgan. He was tragically killed after he'd been taken from his longtime foster mother and returned to his biological parents. He had been with those foster parents for 4 years and then return to biological parents. Judah's law should make it easier for caregivers to intervene in the parent-child relationship if the child is at risk. Our affiliate WRTV has more on the story.
The death of 4-year-old Judah Morgan has touched the lives of Hoosiers and others across the country. While Judah is no longer here, his legacy is making life-saving changes in Indiana's legal system.
I'm obviously upset that it took this to make change, but my family and I are super excited that the senators and that the state are seeing that change needs to be done, and that could have possibly saved Judah had they been put in place prior to this.
In 2021, the Department of Child Services granted Judah's parents custody after being with his foster mom for 4 years. Judah died months later of blunt force trauma. Court records state he was allegedly tortured in his LaPorte County home, being forced to stay in a basement for days naked with only a blanket.
It was a tragic event. It was Judah's death and the tragedy and just the absolute horror this youngster went through that made it the time.
Senator Mike Bohacek sponsored the bill along with State Rep Jim Pressel. He says Judah's death pointed out flaws in the legal system. For decades, unlicensed foster parents, like family members, couldn't intervene in court cases or terminate the parent-child relationship when a child is in danger.
The bill does is it sets forth an actual clear path that a caregiver that's not being provided a stipend, which means they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart, will be able to intervene and have a good, strong voice as to where this child goes.
Judah's former foster mother, Gina Hollett, filed for custody in court exactly 1 year ago. She says she reached out to DCS several times and was heartbroken he was given back to his parents.
Judah was with us from 4 months to 4 years. Nobody knew him like we knew him.
She misses her loving, bright-eyed boy.
Emotional roller coaster every day is different.
But she's thankful for Judah's Army, state leaders, and her family for giving others a voice in court and children a chance to escape abuse.
It's just a small step. We want to make federal changes because it needs to stop.
Working for you, Rachel Wilkerson, WRTV.
We know, of course, that's the state of Indiana. The question becomes, on a broader basis, what are other states doing to protect children? Because the federal laws do provide for reunification as the #1 goal when a child's in foster care. But by giving more rights to individuals to intervene in court, that means they can assist in protecting these children. That's what we have to watch for across the nation, and we'll bring you any developing news, legislation, and other cases about that. We are going to be covering that case and others in which, unfortunately, we've seen children in the news, in the media, that are suffering at the hands of parents and foster parents. Bottom line, see something, say something. Help. Education is prevention. If you see any child at the hands of anyone being abused, neglected, or at risk, please report it to the appropriate state agency.